Time now for a Doctor Who rumor. Who will be the 14th Doctor Who? David Tennant? Well, now why even bother with something like this? That's ridiculous, isn't it? Nobody comes back to play the Doctor unless it's like one of the specials, you know, the 5 Doctors, 3 Doctors, 2 Doctors. You know the deal. But these are desperate times, my friends. So, never would have believed Russell T Davies would come back after he repeatedly said he wouldn't even contribute to a script or anything. He said, no, I think I've done all I can do, and I want to move on, and doesn't want to risk spoiling his image, you know, as one of the great showrunners of Doctor Who by following it up with something lackluster. But again, these are desperate times, my friends. Yes, BBC has gotten the word from Sugar Daddy that they will no longer have their allowance. So they're going to have to grow up and make their own money. And how do you do that? Well, you got to have an audience, and you got to please them with stuff they actually want to see. And you need cash cow shows that Doctor Who once was, that not only does well in ratings, but brings in extra goodies, all that money from, you know, the sale of Doctor Who toys and T-shirts and whatnot. So that would be nice, wouldn't it? But that Juggernaut era was primarily David Tennant's era with Russell T Davies, and we need to return to that. We need to get, you know, some guy who could kind of pull that off or whatnot, you know. And well, why not just get the David Tennant to do it? And since both of these guys, you know, they teamed up, they worked well together on the show, and both of them love Doctor Who. You know, I mean, they just love the character and all of that. And for the sad state that it's in, it's somewhat believable that this might happen. So anyway, here we are at Doctor Who TV, the British version, which tends to have more news on it than the other one. Not sure what that's about. But anyway, according to rumors, David Tennant, who played the Doctor between 2005 and 2010, has been cast as the next Doctor. And if the circulating rumors are to be believed, it would make the Scottish actor the first and only actor to play 2 incarnations of the Time Lord. And that's kind of an interesting thing. I mean, would he do it a little differently, you know? But he just looks like his previous self. But they've already wrote it into the lore that he really loved being this version. And that he was a bit vain. You know, he was crying as he was regenerating and all that. You're not going to die, but you kind of. And he turned into Matt Smith. But anyway, does that mean he turns into Matt Smith again? He might be available. Anywho, the tip-off was spotted on a Facebook fan page in which a user suggested a credible BBC source has leaked the information. The user claims this source is the same person who leaked the casting of Sacha Dhawan as the Doctor's nemesis, the Master, in Series 12. And yeah, that was true. Yeah. And Sacha Dhawan probably could have made a good Doctor. He certainly had the better outfit, but they made him the Master instead. Oh well. The original source of the rumor suggests Tennant would be the Doctor for just 3 specials, and then another actor would take over after. Yeah, you know, this is one of the things I thought they could do, certainly with actors who can't commit to, 3 years at the least and stuff like that for a show or whatnot. But you could do specials with them as the Doctor for a while. And I even thought they could clear up the Dr. Ruth business, but I think it's just going to be a clean sweep, but it looks like with this. And then you get your new Doctor who's going to take it on and be there for a bit longer, provided they've restored Doctor Who into profitability. So, could this have any truth? As the frequently most popular voted Doctor, Tennant would certainly draw many fans back from a show that lost a substantial amount of viewers in recent years. Oh, boy, did it. RTD is reassembling some of his old team. So would it be so odd for him to bring back his former leading man too? RTD's first episode is also the 60th anniversary, and that's key, which would likely be bringing back past Doctors anyway, and would be very surprised if Tennant wasn't one of them. Well, he might be two of them. Or three if you want to bring back the clone. But anyway, as for in-story seasons, we know it is possible for the Doctor to keep an appearance. He purposely kept the same face in Journey's End, and the curator also showed he will revisit some old favorites in The Day of the Doctor. Then again, it could all be a load of old rubbish. Yeah, but it lends credibility to it because of the certain state of affairs of Doctor Who. Otherwise, it'd be like, no, come on, it wouldn't even be worth mentioning. But right now, so 3 specials? Yeah, certainly the 60th anniversary. No doubt he'll be in that. I'd be kind of surprised if he wasn't. And that, all right, yeah, I'll do, 2 more episodes or something, And so that's why it's like, better take this seriously, that this might happen. But again, how rumors go and how they go through the filter, it just could be that someone got it a little wrong, and that, yes, he'll be there for the 60th anniversary. And that's it. Yeah. But certainly this would be the draw. And like I said, BBC no longer has a sugar daddy, so they had to farm it out. So they farmed it out. They said, please, Russell. And Russell's like, holy crap, I never thought it would get this bad. I don't want it to die. So he comes back to save it. He gets full control. It's outsourced to his company, Bad Wolf. So, but where's the money coming from? Oh, it's coming from Sony. Yes, Sony. So why would Sony do that? Now, HBO Max took a deal to put the Doctor Who shows on HBO Max. The new ones, not the classic one. That's all BritBox. But the new ones are all on there. Yes, with Jodie on there too. And but HBO Max was just desperate for content. Anything, content, even if it was because even Batwoman's on there. So they put that on there, but it's not the Doctor Who it used to be. So maybe Sony did a little research. Why would we fund this thing when it's dead? And they said, well, if you can get David Tennant back, you've got a deal. And that might have been it, for a few specialists says, hey, we'll do this run, and if we could get the interest, and then we're going to have to find a new Doctor that can keep that audience and hopefully grow it. But that might be a little too ambitious. But you get David Tennant in there to give it a shot in the arm and restore it. The 60th special, boys, it got a lot of work for it to do. Even with David Tennant coming back, and that would be, those episodes will have ginormous ratings and all of that, and then it just goes back down the toilet because you didn't clean up the mess. And that mess, it ain't Jodie Whittaker, not per se. She wasn't great. It's kind of appropriate that David Tennant follow her because all she ever did was a really bad impression of his Doctor. But no, the big problem for Jodie Whittaker is not that it was just a lackluster series and really awful, was The Timeless Child. That's radioactive stuff that just completely destroys the canon and lore of Doctor Who. And you got to get rid of that. Figure it out however you want to do it. If this is just a sort of reboot deal, similar to how Eccleston comes in, but you didn't know, when you thought that's how they did it. Paul McGann had somehow regenerated into Eccleston's Doctor until suddenly they couldn't get Eccleston to come back for the 50th special. So the last minute they got John Hurt to come in, fine actor and everything, but War Doctor. That's one of those things that starts messing with the canon. It was nothing compared to The Timeless Child, but still, yeah, a bit of a misstep there. But that was the deal. You didn't see the regeneration, so that was one of the things. But it was an interesting break when he talks about, well, this time war happened and all that. So it was a cool way to get it in there, and with not having to deal with a lot of obvious continuity problems and whatnot. And it worked. To do something like this again, where this is you know, how many different incarnations in advance that you just don't get to see. Don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, there is this other little thing about Jodie Whittaker. Jodie's, this is the son. I think other people are talking about it, but nevertheless, denied the farewell regeneration scene. Now, she's already said she taped it, but that just means she's laying down and glowing, and then if the screen just goes to black. So, I mean, if they want to keep it a big secret, you know, that you don't see her turn into David Tennant until the special. Yeah, and then that's all her involvement is in the special. Like the first few opening minutes is her laying on the floor glowing, and then it's David Tennant. Oh, boy, I mean, I didn't like her run as the Doctor. I didn't like her comments about the Doctor calling it, you know, playing to the male gaze, even while at the same time admitting she never watched the show. And that sort of thing. I didn't like that, but a lot of this just isn't really her fault, you know? And the idea that, I don't know, I doubt that they're going to retcon her completely like it never happened. I don't think they'll do that. They might. I don't know, you know? But I think certainly Timeless Child, you got to deal with that. Deal with that, and I think you can restore this. So, yeah, it goes into the same thing about, yeah, Eccleston didn't have a regeneration scene until later, kind of, sort of CGI, but, you know. So, the boys are back, and maybe that's the deal. And it certainly has some amount of credibility because of the sorry state that Doctor Who finds itself in now. Unnecessarily, unfortunately, but well, such are the times, because Doctor Who is certainly not alone in the past, 10 years, I guess, of just massive destruction to beloved franchises. Because Doctor Who was king at one point, and, well, not anymore. Well, I'm not going to say it. It's not anymore, unfortunately. But, yeah, this would capture the interest of someone like Sony, saying, all right, we'll back this. For now, you know, you got a lot to do. Did Sony do enough research, you know, to understand that the plot's got to retcon that BS of the Timeless Child? I don't know. You got to do that too. But them's the breaks. Them's the breaks. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see what happens, of course. But it could just be that he's going to be in the special and that's it, you know. But it's, of course, it's believable now because of where we are. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness. So many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.